Good morning, West Michigan. Thanks for getting up with us on this Tuesday morning. We're on your side with today's top headlines, including the latest on that electoral college vote set to certify the results of the presidential election, as well as that heightened Senate runoff election, which is taking place today in Georgia. That will determine whether the Democrats or the Republicans will have the Senate majority. But first, let's bring it back local and send it over to meteorologist Laura Hartman with a look at today's forecast. And Laura, maybe some slick spots on the roads?
Definitely a possibility today. As we watch a quick hitting system move through, it's not going to be too much about the snow chances that give us those slick roads, but rather the freezing fog and freezing drizzle that we have. So some of that has developed in the overnight. I want to first show you where the snow is. It has started to become a little bit more widespread for those areas east of US 131. Your chances west of US 131 of seeing any snow is pretty much zero at this point. So don't expect to have any accumulations on the lakeshore, but it's inland that we have the fog potential today. We've got visibility that has been down to 2 miles at times in Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo as well. Right now down to 2.5 in Ionia, and seeing even worse visibilities off to the east of there. So if you are moving to the east today, you could definitely see some of those slick spots. Temperatures right now away from the lakeshore, again below freezing. So starting off at 30 in Grand Rapids, 29 in Fremont, and 33 in both Holland and Muskegon. So that should be just warm enough to keep you from seeing a lot of that potential freezing. But those of us inland will have that potential today. So winter weather advisories for the counties in purple until 9 a.m. And that's only going to last for a short period because we're warming up to above freezing shortly after that. So we're not going to see this as a concern this afternoon, just cloudy skies and temperatures a little bit above average for the remainder of the day once we get into the afternoon hours. We'll take a look at your extended forecast and show you if there's any active weather coming our way after today in just a few.
Thank you, Laura. Well, earlier we mentioned the special election taking place in Georgia today, that Senate runoff. All eyes are on the Peach State as voters head to the polls with the weight of the entire nation on their backs. Joining us this morning from Atlanta, Georgia, is ABC's Elizabeth Schultze explaining how the outcome of today's elections affects Americans from both sides of the political spectrum. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning. More than 3 million people have already voted early here in Georgia so far, but turnout today will ultimately determine if the Democrats can win these two runoff races, something they haven't done in nearly 3 decades.
With the balance of power in Washington on the line, a final campaign push in Georgia by leaders of both parties.
Hello, hello, hello!
President-elect Joe Biden headlining a drive-in rally in Atlanta for the Democratic challengers Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff. Democrats need to win both seats to flip the Senate. In a rally overnight for the Republican incumbent Senators David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler, President Trump aired his grievances about the presidential election.
And I'm going to be campaigning against your governor and your crazy Secretary of State. That I can tell you.
The president's phone call with Georgia's Secretary of State, in which Trump is heard asking officials to overturn the results of the vote in Georgia, casting a shadow over the final hours of the campaigns.
So what are we going to do here, folks? I only need 11,000 votes. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break.
Some Republicans now fear the president's continued attacks could suppress GOP turnout.
It doesn't help them.
These have been expensive campaigns here in Georgia, with ad spending totaling more than $500 million just in the past 2 months. Polls show both races are neck and neck, so it's unlikely we're going to get a result tonight. Elizabeth Schultze, ABC News, Atlanta.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And on that leaked call between President Trump and Georgia state officials that Elizabeth just mentioned, the president made a number of fraud accusations involving the presidential election, including one suggesting some ballots were counted multiple times. Let's bring in our Verify reporter Jason Puckett to analyze this claim.
Let's break down the facts.
Each ballot went 3 times. They were showing, here's ballot number 1, here it is a second time, third time, next ballot.
This claim is false. Gabriel Sterling, the Georgia voting system implementation manager and a Republican, explained why in a news conference on Monday.
The president wanted us to do a hand recount, hand retally, which we ended up doing under our audit. That audit showed that there was no problem with machine scanning. If somebody took a stack of ballots and scanned them multiple times, you would have a lot of votes with no corresponding ballots.
There are more claims from the president's call up on our website, and if you have something you want us to verify, send us an email. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.
Jason, thank you. And efforts to dispute the results of Georgia's election came just a day before the Electoral College is scheduled to meet to confirm President-elect Joe Biden's win. Now, a dozen Republican senators and up to 100 House Republicans plan to challenge the vote. At least 3 of those Republican lawmakers represent Michigan. Monday, House Representative Lisa McClain of Bruce Township announced her objection to Michigan's electoral votes being awarded to Biden. Later that afternoon, House Representatives Jack Bergman of Watersmeet and Tim Walberg of Tipton announced their objections as well. Michigan Republican lawmakers are split on how tomorrow's Electoral College vote should go. While some plan to object, 2 representatives say they will not. Monday, Fred Upton of St. Joseph released a statement via Twitter saying in part, quote, voters, not judges or politicians, must decide elections. And these objections would establish a new precedent allowing the Congress to supersede the will of the people, end quote. Upton is joined by fellow congressional Republican Representative Bill Huizenga of Zeeland, who spoke with 13 on Your Side, saying he too will not object to tomorrow's Electoral College vote.
I will not be objecting to Michigan's Electoral College results because of the hundreds of hours that I and my team have put in investigating some of the allegations of system-wide fraud. I have not been able to find hard evidence of that at all. Are there issues and problems? Absolutely. All you have to look at what happened at TCF Center to know that there are issues that have to be dealt with. But I don't believe there's 153,000 votes worth of that.
Huizenga does say, however, that he reserves the right to affirm other lawmakers' objections based on what evidence they may show from their own states. So far, no evidence of systemic voter or election fraud has been shown in relation to November's presidential election. The Grand Haven Tribune reports those interested in hearing more from Representative Huizenga can do so by attending a public town hall. Today at 6:05 p.m., people living in Michigan's 2nd Congressional District will have the opportunity to ask questions and gain a better understanding of the certification process. The town hall will be streamed live at huizenga.house.gov/live. Plus, coming up at 6:30, constitutional law expert Devin Schindler joins us live, explaining more on tomorrow's certification vote and what it would take to overturn the outcome of the presidential election. So stay with us at 6:30 for that. Michigan's total number of confirmed cases now tops 500,000. It comes after nearly 5,000 new COVID-19 cases were reported Sunday and Monday combined. That brings the total to 502,119. 80 new deaths were also reported over those 2 days. The latest 7-day average positivity rate, or the number of COVID-19 tests coming back with a positive result, now sits at 9.3%. Now, of those newly reported cases, several link back to West Michigan schools. Tuesday, 3 new outbreaks were reported at New Wonders Preschool in Kalamazoo and Lincoln Elementary in Zeeland, as well as Olivet College in Eaton County. That's just south of Lansing. Currently, the state is reporting nearly 100 ongoing school-related outbreaks. Now, Monday, Michigan high schools were allowed to resume in-person learning. In efforts to combat the spread of the coronavirus, the state health department is giving away millions of masks for free. Local MDHHS offices, health departments, and community organizations will provide free KN95 masks. It's part of the state's Mask Up, Mask Right campaign. KN95s are one of the 3 recommended mask options shown there on your screen. They, along with 3-layered disposable or washable cloth masks, provide more protection. To find out how to get your free mask, go to michigan.gov/maskupmichigan. Well, have you heard of a cloud kitchen? If not, you're certainly not alone. But this new concept is popping up right here in West Michigan. Coming up, how it's allowing you to order a Grand Rapids fan favorite out on the lakeshore.
On the weather deck as we look outside, but that doesn't mean your commute this morning will be smooth sailing. We'll talk about the places that may be seeing some slick spots during your morning commute. It's 5:39. You're up with 13.